Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Massive Darkness 2 unboxing. This is for the Darkbringer Pack. This is the Kickstarter Stretch Goal box set. So if you watch some of my other videos for Massive Darkness 2, a couple of the hero monster sets as well as the enemy boxes were also stretch goals that they then kind of stuck into their own individual boxes. This is all the rest of the characters that kind of just were out and about. So we're going to get a bunch of heroes, a couple more minion leader mob sets, bunch more roaming monsters, and a few bosses as well. It has this nice big old box, which looks much better than the Lightbringer set from the Massive Darkness 1. At least it's something you could kind of display. So yeah, we're going to get a list of all our different characters, of course. Components and all of that. So just mentioning there's going to be all this different stuff in here. Some of them be used with everything can be used with the base game Hellscape, but it also has stuff that is upgraded for Heavenfall. So it's going to be all your mob cards and your monsters that and have your secondary level stuff. And we'll look at all the different colors. There are also going to be some new quests to go with the new characters and the bosses. So we're gonna get a couple new quests there, which we'll not gonna get too much into those. I don't want to spoil all that stuff too much. We're going to get a token sheet, which is gonna have some I don't even know what they're called. It's like souls and poison tokens, but I'm sure they have actual names. Yep, poison tokens. There are scorpion tails, and the other ones are soul tokens. And on the other side of the poison tokens are also judgment tokens. These are used for the different boss characters. The actual tokens are fun. We're gonna get some new tiles. A lot of these are meant for the bosses, but of course it doesn't mean you can't use them elsewhere. So we're gonna have these big giant desert. This doesn't even have any rooms in it. And then we're going to get, so I have two tiles that have deserts on them. Give you some different stuff to do. We're going to get two tiles that have these purple rooms. Again, these are mainly made for bosses, which is why they don't have, these actually fit together to make a full picture, which is why they don't have any rooms on them. And then the opposite side of all four of them is we're going to get the river sticks for one of the bosses, Charon. So this will have some various things you have to go around. So we have River of Souls. And then the fourth tile. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So you get some extra tiles to do some extra things with. Alright, set those off to the side. Another thing we're also going to get is this handy dandy sheet that tells you how to kind of put everybody back in there. This is very helpful to keep a hold of if you're going to keep using these boxes. They're very nice boxes to store all your figures in if you don't have a secondary solution. Just make sure that you keep a track of that, because trying to sometimes just figure these out where they go by looking at them is a pain. Alright, so we're going to start right away. We're going to look at our heroes. Now, if you want to know more about how each of these heroes work, for the base ones, go look at the base game video. I believe it was part 3 heroes, which I go through all the different hero classes and how they all work. And then the couple of these are going to be ones from the box set, so you just have to find the corresponding box set expansion for those classes. So we're going to start off with Ego here, who's our wizard. 6 health, 5 mana. Take up to 3 wounds, gain that number of mana once per round. And then Shadow, deal 2 wounds, and heal yourself 2. Do a little bit more of a battle mage. He's also a demon. I like that they're getting some of the other races in here, other than just being like, again, I don't like when it's just humanoid characters. I'm like, they're fantasy world. You can't count because evil attacking, the other races aren't going to help out. So he's got like a magical ball coming off his hand. He has eye patch on his big giant scepter. He's got, of course, he's all cloaks. He's got his cloven hooves there. Alright, so that is our, that is our first wizard, Ego. And we got our second wizard, which is Lotus. Alright, so she has some interesting things here as well. So she has 5 health, 6 mana. She says you may use ranged abilities as magic at range 1 or more. Interesting. And then Shadow. Draw and discard 2 arrow cards. Gain 1 mana for each arrow revealed this way. So she uses some of the rogues cards, or rangers cards. Sorry. Kind of show up. She used to be a dark elf. Now she's a mage. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. And there's her sculpt. She's got, throwing some magic up in the air. Also has a staff. Alright. Definitely cool. A little bit interesting designs on them. Next, we're going to look at our Paladin. Which is Victor. 6 health, 3 mana. Action. Once per round, draw 2 rogue tokens from the bag and discard 1. Tokens can be used for an extra action. Shadow. 1 hero in a consecrated zone draws 1 rogue token from the bag. So these are kind of neat because they're sort of mixing the classes a little bit. It's like you're getting a wizard that is willing to take damage to do stuff, which isn't a very wizardy thing to do. That's more of the Berserker. And then the other wizard just to draw ranger tokens. This one gets rogue tokens. Yes, it's kind of neat. It's kind of work together a little bit better. Shows these are more of like the experienced heroes, maybe like they've were possibly one class at one point and then now they've switched over to a different class. You could maybe call the ones from the base games more your regular ones. And it kind of seems like that even with the second box sets as well, where you kind of got characters where you got 2 sets of everybody. Base game, you only got 1 set, and then the hero packs, you got 2 of everyone. So it kind of makes it thematically makes sense. You sort of have maybe one character. It's like, this is a newer character of the class, the other one's a more experienced one. And here we're just getting extras. This is the last of the double class. I wish we would have gotten 3 of every class. That would have been really cool, but we didn't. So here we have another Paladin. We have Gara. 5 health, 4 mana. Heroes in concentrated zones gain defense plus 1 shield. Shadow. Each hero in a concentrated zone gains 2 mana. Or 3 mana. So she's more of just a standard Paladin. But she's also a dwarf Paladin, which is really fun. I love, again, this mixing of classes. She can probably take a little bit more hits than some of the other ones. Although it's interesting to say that because she has 5 health, whereas Victor has 6. So you think like, oh, she's a little bit bulkier. She can take more hits. She actually has less health than the other one. Alright, our Ranger is Wing. He's wielding some handheld crossbows. Your range attacks may target your zone. Ooh, so that's nice. You can shoot at point blank. And then Shadow. Draw and discard 2 arrow cards. Plus 1 sword for each arrow revealed this way. So when she's shooting from the Shadow, she gets extra attacks. 5 health and 3 mana. because they don't want to. My camera doesn't want to focus on the miniature. It wants to focus on the card, and I hate having to keep moving that out of the way. Alright. Definitely cool. Definitely cool. Alright. Hop through some more of these. We got a Shaman. I love this. We get an angel. We're fighting angels. So we actually get an angel. Like we had Eagle, who's basically like a demon, and now we get an angel. So you actually get some allies from the opposing forces we're fighting again. So you have Cassiel, which is a shaman. He has 5 health, 2 mana. When you recover, gain 1 element, and Shadow increase each element by 1. So it's just gonna up his element meters a lot quicker. I was hoping I wouldn't have to keep moving that card out of the way. Yeah, he's got a big giant rod, he's got that whole glowing halo. Of course, all his wings. I like he's also still like very holy looking. He's not like a falling angel, like, oh, I went to the dark side. Alright, as long as we're looking at a shaman character, we do have something else that's really cool. So, in the base set, you would have gotten your shaman summons, your spirits, also represented by the 2 cards, the Frost Spirit and the Fire Spirit. So these are from the base game. And they just have normal tokens, but if you get the Darkbringers Pack, we are going to get miniatures for them. So now you can replace them on the board with miniatures, which is definitely cool, because then they give you actual, little 3D effect, plus they're easier to move around. So there's your Fire Spirit. It's like a firebird. And then our Frost Spirit goes like a spiky dinosaur. So that's cool. You get some upgraded tokens for them, guys. Necessary to play the game? Nope, but still fun nonetheless. Then we're going to get our Berserker. We have Ivan, who says 8 health and 1 mana. So it's definitely a Berserker stat, especially if you want to take damage. Once per round, you may take 1 wound to change your stance. That's actually really cool. You can change your stance at the 1 wound, plus you get wounds for your rage. And then Shadow, spend any mode of rage to gain 2 swords for each rage spent this way. So Ivan's gonna get up and do some damage, take some hits, and then deal it right back out. I love that he's running around with double axes. He's got that cool belt and everything. His dreads. There's Ivan, our Berserker. Alright, so the last of the main base set characters is we have our Rogue, and we have Mist. So Mist is kind of neat because he goes with the group of characters from Massive Darkness once, which was Silent and Whisper. So it's kind of like the shadowy figures that are the rogue type classes. So she's 5 health, 4 mana. When performing a move action with a blue token, don't take reaction damage. Oh, from the bag. When you pull the bag out, if you're using the movement token bag, it gives you an extra +2. You don't take reaction damage. That's kind of cool. So it gives you a rogue character actually pays attention to what you're drawing from your bag. And then Shadow gets +2 attack for each action you have taken this turn. Nice. Alright, so let's look at him. Yeah, he's kind of like an ethereal being. Well, he's got this big old sword. He's got like Mist, I guess is what his name is. It's Mist pulling off him, but he's kind of coming out of this armor. But yeah, definitely a neat character design. Alright, now we're going to get into the expansion stuff. We're going to look at the monks first. Alright, now these next 4 characters are all, they're all guest artist characters by Mark Gibbons. So usually lots of times when Shaman does their like zombie side games and games like this, they usually will have like a separate box with just the characters in them from a guest artist that aren't one of the normal ones. But this one they decided just to include them in the stretch goals instead of making a separate box. And I think part of the reason is because all of these require you to have the other Kickstarter exclusive hero monster sets. So if you just bought this box separately with the base game, in like retail or on eBay, and you don't have them other classes, you can't play as these. And that's why they didn't want to release them as a separate box set, because then people would have bought that box set and not been able to use those characters without having it. So yeah, that's why their artwork is a little bit different. It is a guest artist. But yeah, it's still definitely cool. So you have Father Corvus. So you have like a dark religious guy as a monk. So he has 4 health, 3 mana. Each time a hero, each hero in your zone gains defense, ignore 1 black die. A shadow. Each hero in your zone gains attack, 1 attack and 1 defense token. Yes, it doesn't really seem like a monk, but I mean, you look at him, you'd think, oh, that guy's probably like a necromancer. But no, that's actually kind of cool. So he's gonna have monk, but he's gonna have maybe less of the attacking monk and more of like the powering up everybody else monk. But he's also got this blade on a chain attached to like this lantern, which is a really cool design. Yeah, he doesn't scream monk like the other monk characters do, where they're like ninja martial artists. Alright, up next we have Harriet, the Necromancer. 4 attack or 4 health and 3 mana. At the start of your turn, roll 1 black die. If any cause or roll, gain 1 soul. And then Shadow, kill 1 defending minion and gain 1 soul. That's really fun. It's extra ways to gain souls for your Necromancer class. So again, you want to know how Necromancers and Monks play? Go check out that video. And he's holding a severed head. He's got a shovel. He's like a grave digger. He's got a backpack full of skulls. It could. It's hard to tell. Does it say Harriet could be a girl? Yeah, it's a girl. I kept thinking it was a guy, but yep, it's a woman. That's even cooler though. You got a female necromancer. Alright, next up is one of the coolest character designs. We got a bard. So you can check out the bard and tinkerer set to see how these guys work. But we got Rift. It says 4 health, 6 mana. When using an instrument to attack in your zone, you gain 1 orange die. Shadow. After combat, for each different active note, roll 2 black dice. Add 1 fire for each claw rolled. Nice. So he gets to add some extra fire. He gets to play around with using his instruments. But I love this. He's like a death metal character. I mean, he doesn't kind of stands out a little bit compared to the rest of them, but I love that his guitar is also his axe. That's definitely really fun. It's like a goth punk type character, metal rocker. Doesn't really necessarily fit the aesthetics of the game as well, but still cool. And then finally, our last character is we have the Tinkerer, which we have Daisy. She's riding this big giant behemoth. And it says, let's see if I can zoom up a little bit better. There we go. It says, when you kill a leader or roaming monster, draw 2 treasure tokens from the bag. Keep Keep one as a gizmo, return the other to the bag. And then Shadow. Ignore all black dice, fully heal you and your constructs. Oh, that's crazy. Just heal up right away. Has 6 health and 4 mana. So let's take a little bit closer look at her minion. Or mini, I guess, not minion. This is riding this big behemoth who has some blades. He's a little teddy bear on his back. She's wielding some sort of scepter. This is kind of weird because, like, you wouldn't think, again, you saw this, you wouldn't think Tinkerer. Because the Tinkerers seem more like the, like a gnome or a dwarf. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. Again, I think some of these guest artist things, they made these cool designs, but they didn't really necessarily have a class to fit them in exactly. So they kind of just fudged it. Alright, so before we jump on to some bad guys, we got one other thing to look at, is we've got some more tokens. So these are the constructs, and my camera is totally unzoomed. So we get these various tokens for the Tinkerer. We get their constructs. We have a turret, guard armor, and the sentry. And then we also get the exo armor. So if you have their armor, you gain an armor token that you can play down. And then the constructs are going to look like these. So we have guard construct, sentry armor, and scout construct. I'm not going to pull up the exo armor. They're big giant things that go over your table. But we're going to get the miniatures for them, which is really cool. So our scout miniature is going to look like this. This is neat. Now you actually have big 3D models of these on the table. So there's a scout token. The turret. And the guard armor, which I really wish he was a little bit bigger. But he does his job, right? So there's 3 of those. You're going to get those guys to also have out as 3D models instead of tokens. Again, not necessary, but definitely fun to have. And then you're going to get your guard, your exo armor. So when you put your exo armor, you can actually just swap your miniature out with one of these guys instead of having a token. It's definitely cool because they made a neat design for this character, so it's neat to actually just see him like in real life. You can see like the sword that you use, the helmet, you just see the armor, the boots, the engine, all the different components that kept getting upgraded. So that's really fun that you get this extra little 3D miniatures to go with it. Kind of like if you get the Druid set, they have the animal forms they change into. So they kept those guys as well. Like they're right in the base game, or in their not base game, their box. So it's actually fun too. All right, next we're gonna look at our mobs, and we're gonna get our 5 different cards for all the different levels up to level 10. I'll be the same for all the roaming monsters as well. So we're going to start off with the Nymphs. So like all the rest of the mobs, we're going to get 6 minion minis and 1 leader mini. Alright, so the Nymphs are 2 health, 1 defense. Defense roll your claw. Ignore 1 sword and it becomes an attack instead. Oh boy. Basically they hit you right back. Then the upgraded versions are just going to add more health and dice. So 3 and 2. And 5 and 3. Then when we start upgrading to the campaign ones, we get an extra green die in there, which is just a harder dice to fight. Has more defense symbols on there. 4 and 1, and then finally 9 health with 4 blue die, 2 green die, and the ability stays the same. So let's take a look at their miniatures quick. There's our first nymph. Little harp bow. It's a harp, I guess. And then the leader, who has a big giant poofy brush helmet. Got some wings. And a spear. Or a javelin. So is our nymphs. That's one of our 2 new monsters we get to fight. Always getting more options. I'm never going to complain about that. And our second group of mobs are the Nagas. So we're going to get our leader there. And then our minions. So, Nagas are going to say 4 health, 1 defense dice. So they're a little bit heftier to defeat. Combat. Place the attacking or defending hero in the Nagas zone and deal them 1 wound. Once per roll. So they're going to pull you into them if they can. And then 5 health with 2 defense dice. 7 health with 3 defense dice. And when up to the next level, they're going to gain that green dice. 9 health, 3 and 1 die. 10 health with 3 and 2. Then finally 11 health with 3 and 3 dice. And the ability stays the same. You deal 2 wounds. So it does actually jump up to 2 wounds at one point. So the first 2 levels are only deal 1 wound, and then after that goes up to 2 wounds. So they become much harder to fight. Alright, let's look at these snake boys. There's just a cool snake, has a little neat tail point on there. And his hand is doing this weird, like, backwards flip thing. I get that it's supposed to look like, it's like in the artwork, it's just kind of like it's downwards, but they kind of flipped it the wrong direction on the miniature, so it's actually almost backwards. But it's fine. And then this Naga, who has a snake wrapped around him as well, is sitting even more coiled up. So if he stood up, he'd be like 3 times as tall. Plus he's got the hood. The snake hood, which is really cool. You know, I can't wait to like put him with my my King Hiss characters from He-Man. The He-Man miniature game, when that comes out, I can have these guys team up with He-Man or fight He-Man. Alright, let's jump into our roaming monsters. So we're gonna start off with the Vindicator here. So we'll have the 5 different cards for all the different levels as well. So Vindicator starts off with 5 health per hero, 2 blue die, 2 black dice for defense, and magic ranged attack, 1 yellow, 2 black dice. His movement abilities, or his activation, is if there's more than 1 hero in the same zone, place Vindicator in a zone adjacent to the zone with the most heroes, and deal 1 wound to each hero in that zone. Otherwise, place Vindicator in a zone adjacent to the hero at the highest level, if tied for the highest XP, and then attack that hero. So he's going to attack either the most heroes or whoever's the highest. So whatever sort of the threat is. And then combat, Vindicator takes 1 wound, and the attacking or defending hero takes 1 wound once per roll. Ooh, so he'll kind of hurt himself. Alright, so before we jump into the rest of those, let's look at his miniature here. He's got these cool dangly blades going down his dress skirt thing there. He's got some fireballs in his hand. I love that he's got like the 1 horn. And then his wings are really cool. That horn really sticks out like, yeah, the one leg broke off. Alright, let's see what the rest of his cards do. So there's just lots of them are just going to go up in stats. He's going to have 8, and then some more dice. And then there's a level 5 version. So I could get up the wound amount. Yes. Nope, so they're all still 2 wounds. But now when we get up to the campaign ones, now they start dealing 3 wounds. So down here, this is just up to 3 wounds. And his up, they do 3 wounds, but he also gets some green and red dye. Typically, their activation abilities don't change. They might up to like the different dye colors, but they don't usually change too much because they want you to be able to play them at any level. Although this one does up this now to deal 3 wounds. In the same zone. What is that? 15 health per hero. 4 blue dye, 3 green dye, 3 black dice, or his magical attack at 3 orange, 2 red, and 2 black. Yeah, so it's just gonna kind of come in and hit whoever. Yeah, so it starts off only dealing 1 wound on each thing, and then when he upgrades to the second one, he starts doing 2, does 2, and then when he gets to the higher ones, he eventually starts, and the last one he starts doing 3, and then some of these he starts doing 3 at the bottom. He just does more damage as time goes by. Alright, up next we have the Buer. This weird little ball of fur and hooves. 4 health per hero. 2 blue dye, 1 black dye. Melee attack, he has 1 orange dye, 1 black dye. Buer always activates last during the enemy phase. If there are any mobs in the dungeon, Buer performs 2 actions like a mob. Then the closest mob to Buer performs 1 action. Otherwise, spawning a mob in Buer's zone, it doesn't activate the runs. Basically, he's a leader of the leaders. He's gonna make mobs more powerful or do better stuff. Combat, he can heal. Each enemy heals 1. Yes, you need to take him as quickly as possible. Otherwise, he's just gonna make these mobs do more damage. Where he's gonna keep spawning more of them. Upgrade, and gain some more health and dye. He heals 2 now instead of 1. And then now he heals for 3. The bottom. And then you get up to this level, now they can heal for 4. And finally, as last one, he can heal each enemy for 5. That's crazy, just be able to keep healing enemies like that. So he has 14 health per hero, 5 blue dice, 2 green dice, 2 black dice, and his attack has 3 orange, 3 red, and 2 black. So yeah, he's definitely a cool design there. Getting that ability to keep making mobs better. Yeah, he's got like 3 goat hooves sticking out of him. He's got a weird skull face. He's definitely an interesting creature. Alright, up next we have this 3-headed feller. Osmosus. Yeah, he's got a horse head, like a lion head on him, and then he's got like, his own weird demon head. So 5 health per hero, 2 blue and 1 black defense, and melee he has 1 yellow and 1 black. So he always rolls shadow when rolling his attack. Oh, that's crazy. If there are any heroes in the shadow zone, each hero in the shadow zone takes 1 wound. Osmosis moves 2 zones towards the closest hero and attacks if possible. Otherwise, he place him and the closest hero in the shadow zone closest to him, and the closest hero in the shadow closest to him, then he attacks that hero. Okay, so that's kind of crazy. So if he's in the shadow, so if you're in the shadows when he's around, you're gonna take extra damage. He's gonna move towards you, and then if he can, he's going to try and just move you into the shadow so he can use that ability. Sorry. And then shadow ability. So if he does roll, it says tail the defending hero, remove how much this and the cards from the game, return any treasure tokens on and treasure to the bag. Hero gains no XP, an attack roll of a shadow. Reroll the shadow dice result. That's crazy. So he can KO any hero with one shadow dice, which he rolls every. He always rolls. When he attacks, and if he does hit that shadow ability, you don't ignore that die, he's going to remove you and himself from the game. At least he takes himself with you, instead of just basically pulling you into the shadows, and then if he can, he's going to basically remove you from the game, which is pretty crazy. Alright, so stats are going to go up. So now they take 2 wounds when they're in the shadows. Upgrade again. More health, more dice. We're going to give him green dice now. Green dice. And then finally, also when in a shadow, now you take 3 wounds. So it's 14 health per hero, 4 blue, 3 green, and 2 black dice for defense. And his attack is 2 yellow, 3 orange, 1 red, and 1 black. But he always gets to roll that shadow dice as well. This is even more powerful. That's crazy. I love it. I love extra neat mechanics. Alright, so there he is with his multi-headed horror, his big giant axe. His hoof feet, all of his wings have like tears in them. He's got a tail. Yeah, that guy's crazy. I'm surprised it's not like almost like that type of thing. I get why it's not a boss, because having a boss that removes himself from the game would be kind of pointless, but still nuts. Alright. We have another demon we're gonna fight. Since we keep playing around in hell, we're gonna fight Almond, who has 7 health per hero, 1 blue and 1 black defense, and melee, 1 yellow, 2 black. If Almond is the same zone as a hero, that hero discards 3 mana. For each mana they can't discard, take 1 wound. Otherwise, place Almond in the zone of the hero with the most mana, and Almond attacks that hero. Attack 1, defender discards 1 mana. Crazy. They're gonna keep absorbing your mana out of you and then attack you for it. Alright, so going up, so now I discard up to 4 mana. With his ability. And then if we up him to now he gets, besides getting more dice and more health, he also does, now you discard 5 mana. At least it caps out at 5 mana for now. And now his bottom ability, now it upstarts, you only have to discard 2. So he's gonna take more of your mana that way. That one stays the same. And then we get a spinal level. Now he also makes you discard 6. He's in the same zone. 17 health per hero. 5 blue, 1 green, 3 black dice. And then attack 3 yellow, 3 red, and 3 black. So yeah, the more of them black dice you roll, so chances he gets to activate that, which makes you discard more mana. Then when he's in the same zone as you have to discard 6 mana. So if you already made you lose more the other way, you're going to take a lot more wounds. He's kind of an a-hole if you need mana. But he's got a really cool design here. So he's got this spear, javelin, double-sided, which is really cool. He's standing on his spiked tail, which I love. Goes from like fur down into like just straight up like a bony spiked tail. Plus he's got like some little wing ears. And his tongue's out. I wish there was better full artwork of some of these characters. Which I love to see what that tail looks like in full artwork. Alright. getting down to the end of our roaming monsters, we have the Griffin. Now we're getting towards the heavenly side. Griffins have 6 health per hero. Defense is 2 blue, 1 black die. Attack is magical range, 1 yellow, 3 black. If Griffin is in a zone with a treasure loot tokens, place all treasure loot tokens from Griffin zone on its card, adding it to its rewards. If Griffin has an open path to any treasure loot tokens, place the Griffin on the closest zone with the loot treasure. Then, if possible, he attacks the closest hero. That's definitely a cool design. So he's trying to just run around collecting treasure, and then hey, your nearest treasure is gonna hit you. So he's not like, he's kind of like if you ignore him, he's fine. Because if you don't go near them treasure, if he's like, I don't really need treasure that badly, you could just run around him and he's not gonna come after you. I mean, because he'll attack from two spots away. So as long as you just stay 2 spots away, he won't attack you. So it's kind of fun. And if you roll the black dice and get 2 claws, plus 1 attack for each treasure loot. So yeah, but if you don't kill him before he finds too much treasure, he's going to become super hard to beat later. Alright, so he's just going to upping his dice and health. There's bottom one, now he gets plus 2 sword for each loot and treasure. Adds the green die for his defense. And he doesn't actually become too much more hard after that. Just 15 health per hero, 4 blue die, 3 green die, 1 black die for defense, and his magical attack is 3 orange, 3 yellow, and 4 black. But he's gonna have black, so they're really gonna be a pain in the ass because you can gain a lot more for all his treasures. Alright, that is our Griffin. So our armored eagle-y guy. With a scorpion tail, for good measure. That is cool. Alright, so we're on to our last roaming monster. And then we'll take a look at those bosses. We're going to get to fight a Valkyrie. Alright. So Valkyries have 6 health per hero, 2 blue and 1 black dice for defense, and a melee attack of 2 yellow and 1 black. I've noticed nobody so far has had ranged attacks. I don't think anybody had a ranged. Melee, 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 melee. I don't even think the... Yes, that's kind of neat. It's kind of interesting more than neat, is that nobody's had ranged attacks. Each time an enemy is killed, place 1 mana on Valkyrie. If there is a hero up to 2 zones away from Valkyrie, move the Valkyrie to the closest hero and attack them. Otherwise, Valkyrie moves 2 zones towards the closest hero. Then all other enemies in the dungeon move 1 zone towards their closest respective hero. Oh boy. An attack with the claw plus 1 for each mana Valkyrie. So you want to target her before you target everybody else. She kind of becomes the focus. Which she kind of has that pose. She's like, come at me, bro. Yeah, so she's going to try and move two zones towards any hero. Basically, you want to keep her engaged, because if she's not, and she doesn't attack you, everyone else is going to get a move closer, so it's just going to make them guys hard. If they all gang up on you in one spot, that's going to be rough. Alright, so then her upgrades just better dice, and health. Same thing, I'm just seeing if any of these other numbers change. Let me just go up some more. Yep, she didn't get any extra bonuses. I was trying to see if maybe her bottom sword went up or she gained more mana, and it stays the same the entire time. Stays fairly consistent. 14 health per hero. Defense is 4 blue, 3 green, and 1 black dice. And melee attack, 2 yellow, 3 green, 2 red, and 2 black. But every time you're killing enemies, that mana's gonna go on her. She's just gonna automatically gain extra hits. So if you don't focus on taking out her, she's just gonna get more powerful. I wonder how this works with, there's one character's ability, I can't remember if it was the monk or the necromancer. They could just take out a mob that summons on a portal. So if all of a sudden you have 5 enemies, because you're playing a 4-player game, so you have a leader and 4 minions as part of a mob. If you take out a mob, does that kill it and automatically add 5 to her? Because that would be crazy. Like, oh, I gotta get rid of this mob, but I have to wait until I can take out Valkyrie first. Interesting little things to think about. I mean, it's something that might never come up because you might never have that ability at the same time you summon Valkyrie and everything. There's a shield, a skull on it, horse with all the armor. She's got a cool helmet. It's a regular shield. She gets a second shield. Her spear and like kind of her hair, so like she's kind of like dropping down, like she's like the landing pose. All right, so that was the end of our roaming monsters. Now we'll take a look at our bosses. All right. For our first box, we have the Scorpion King, the Desert Abomination. So here is his big old massive miniature. And I broke everything. Yeah, so that big giant guy. Let's see if I can compare him to one of the regular heroes. So that's him compared to the dwarf. So it's pretty big. Let's see if I can compare him to like a regular sized human. There we go. So he's fairly good collecting. Hold him in his pictures. And get him stuck and break something. Yeah. So bosses, of course, always have a special thing. Now this is what I love about this. It has his own special back picture on the card. I really wish the base game had done this and just made 2 separate cards instead of having them be a double-sided. But alright, let's see what this Scorpion King does. So if we look up in the top corners, our basic stuff, we have 25 health per hero. So even at level 10, most roaming monsters only have 14, 15 health per hero. So they're still like mini bosses, even in that sense, because they're never going to have as much health as one of these guys do. His defense is 4 blue dice, 1 black dice, and his attack is 1 yellow, 1 orange, and 3 black. So their attacking defense sometimes isn't as good as a level 10 roaming monster, but that's because they have all these other special abilities. Like he has combat, 1 claw, deal 1 wound for each poison on an attacking or defending hero once per combat. Quicksand move, roll 1 black die. Place the Scorpion King in the corresponding quicksand zone. Blank. Closest. Okay. See, roll 1 black dice and then place him in the corresponding quicksand zone. So if it's blank, you put him in the closest one. If he gets the hand, the closest on the other tile. If you get the hand or you get a claw or a claw and the hand combination, you put him on the furthest. So he has a special tiles that he works with. So let me see if I can grab those out quick. So he gets these special desert tiles. So you have 2 quicksand there. You have 2 quicksand there. So he gets to move around on these special boss tiles, just quicksand. His activation, he'll activate once per round by rolling 2 black dice for a 0 claws, just claw ambush. Place the closest hero in the Scorpion King zone and attack, then perform quicksand move. Bringing the hero along as well as he moves you across the board. You get 1, you get Poison Sting. Each hero in the Scorpion's King's tile takes 1 poison, perform the quicksand move, and then 2, you get Sandquake. Each hero in the Scorpion King's tile takes 1 wound, places 1 poison on each. Each poison trap zone without a token. See poison traps in the rule, and perform a quicksand move. So I'm not gonna get into that. You'll have to go look at the book when you get him. But yes, it's kind of he gets to poison you, which can deal some extra damage to you just to move around that. Then on the bottom down there, he has his track, which he places the darkness tile. So spiked hull plus X defense plus Y claws. On defense, Scorpion King has X defense and X claws. So on defense, he gets 1 extra shield, and then he gets a shield and a claw, 2 shields, 1 claw, 2 shields, 1 claw, or 3 shields and 1 claw. Craziness. He gets some really cool stuff there. Gets some extra damage if you get them slash marks on your claws. Yeah, it kind of pulls you around the board, which is really neat for the defense tile. So how is that set up in there? Actually, we're going to look at that. So, just to show off how this is set up, I'm not going to look through all this stuff, but you do have his 2 tiles here. So there's this quicksand here, then you have the dungeon over here. So you kind of like navigate through the regular dungeon, and then you can enter into the boss zone. So you're not just immediately fighting him, but yeah, then you'll move around to these different zones, running back and forth. He has poison traps in between, so if you have to run to the other one, you have to run through these poison traps. The Oasis does special things. That's pretty cool. Kill the 4 poisonous mobs. Oh, that's fun. Poison mobs. And then yeah, there's all the special quest rules. Quicksand, poison traps, the Oasis. Discards poison so you can get across to there. So yeah, he's gonna kind of basically you're gonna start here, you have to cross this poison field, he's gonna keep trying to pull you back around. Keep you away from that Oasis zone. So that's definitely a fun boss mechanic. Plus it's different than the base game where you had essentially an angel and a demon. Now you're gonna get something a little bit different. Alright, up next we have Charon, the Dark Rider. Alright, so let's look at his giant mini here. He's on the boat. His soul's pouring off of it. He's got his stick. He's pushing through this, wading through the river Styx. Like they even put detail, kind of like there's stuff in the boat, like it's actually kind of hollow. Yeah, if we compare him to one of the human characters. So I mean, he himself is about the same size as a human, which makes sense. So what does Charon do? 30 health per hero. 5 blue and 1 black for defense, magic attack, 3 orange and 2 black. Combat. 1 claw. Attacking hero or defending hero discards 1 mana. Charon gains 1 soul shield, represented as a mana. His activation. Once per turn, but he gets 2 black dice for 0 soul shield. Charon gains 1 soul, and then he gains 2 soul shields mana for each soul he is carrying. See the soul shields in the rule book. So those are the special tokens we had. Lastly, he rose. And then sail on. Charon attacks the hero in range. The most health, if possible, then he rose. +1 for each soul he is carrying. And then Death Ride. Charon attacks the hero in range with the least amount of defense dice. If possible, then at least 1 wound is dealt. Charon takes the hero on a Death Ride. So Death Ride in the rulebook. Then he rose. So his meter at the bottom says Sharon rows X zones. The number of zones Sharon moves, so use 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, or 3. Interesting. So we kind of gotta look at his book to see what he all does here. Because he's gonna have some special things. I didn't really want to go through these, but I kind of need to so you can see how these special guys work. Because they work differently than some of the other ones. So yes, that is Hades. That is not the right boss we want to fight. We want the Dark Ride. So you have to save 6 souls, ring the fairy bell, ring up souls, and then kill Charon. Special looting after the boss fight begins, if Shaman leaves the dungeon, he immediately ends. So he has some special things. There's a river of souls. Heroes and enemies cannot enter the soul rivers. He has soul protection, which are represented by soul tokens. Every enemy spawns with a soul token in addition to any ability to have enemies with that gain 1 defense. And when heroes kill an enemy, they keep the soul represents soul save. Each hero immediately gains 4 XP. Once one hero have gathered 6 souls, they may ring the fairy bell. Any hero standing in the objective token zone can spend 1 action in a ring it. As the bell rings, Shaman is summoned and the boss fight begins. Remove the tile. Okay, interesting. So basically he has his 2 regular tiles. So you start here and then there's a little soul river you can kind of start, but then he'll start in these zones once you fight him. But then when you do, then you expand his tiles out. So you're going to add the rest of the river to the board. And he has souls you can collect along the way. Rowing. Every time Sharon's ability indicates he rows, move that number of soul river zones according to the value. Only move through rivers until the end of it. Cannot be moved by abilities or effects that are not his own. Okay, so he moves through Death Ride. That was the other ability we said. One of Sharon's abilities may take heroes into a Death Ride. After attacking hero through Death Ride action, if the hero took at least 1 wound from the attack, place that hero in Sharon's zone with your miniature laying down. Whenever Sharon rows, move the hero along with him. Hero takes 1 wound for each zone they move with. A hero on Death Ride must spend their first action to escape the ride, then place an adjacent zone to Sharon. They spend 1 action adjacent to release another hero being held. Place that hero in their zone. If the hero is KO'd due to it, place his miniature on any adjacent tile as soon as they are KO'd. Interesting. Yeah, so he's got to get through here. He starts at the bottom, and he's got to move. So there's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 19 spots he can move. There's some different objective tokens you can interact with. You do got stuff. I'm not going to go through every single little aspect of his stuff, but yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, he gets his 4 big tiles here, which he gets to move around. And you gotta move to these other spots to get around through them to attack him. So that's definitely a neat, different way to do a boss fight. Alright, then our final boss is we, of course, have Hades, the Infernal Judge. Hades has this giant miniature here. All these damned souls, or whatever they are, below him. He's hovering on. He's got, of course, a cape, because why wouldn't you have a giant cape and cloak and hood? He's got a horn. He's got his big old staff. And if we compare him to a miniature, so I mean, put him up there. Like waist high, he's about the same as a human, a little bit bigger maybe, but he's got these giant long legs and everything. Then just comparing him to like the other guys, so like against Charon or against the Scorpion, just for size wise, he's like pretty big. Alright, what cool stuff does he do? 25 health per hero. 5 blue dice, 1 black dice for defense, and magic range. He has Um, 2 yellow, 1 orange, 1 black. He also has a special meter on the bottom for little characters which have 5 health, 1 defense. This is a black guy in combat. They can spend, if they roll a claw, the hero takes 1 judgment token. Alright, so his actions are 1, he just throw 2 black dice. Guilty Conscience. Place Hades in the furthest throne zone. The hero with the most judgments discards 2 and takes 1 frost. Each other hero takes 1 judgment. Soulburn. Place Hades in the zone of the hero with the least amount of soul judgment and then attacks them. Or Pay for your sins. Place Hades in the furthest throne zone. Place heroes distributed equally between the adjacent zones. Heroes with any judgment roll 1 black per token they have. Each claw roll, they discard 1 and take 1 wound. Other heroes take 1 each. And then he has Final Judgment on his little track down there. It says, Hades grabs the hero with the most judgment, and the lingering souls appear. See rulebook. Hades is invulnerable and doesn't activate this round. If there's any souls at the end of the round, the quest ends in defeat. Interesting. So we'll have to see what the book says and how that kind of works. So he's got this giant map here, so he gets, I'm going to zoom out a bit. He gets his giant double-sided purple things. You have light and darkness areas depending on where you're at. And he's got a throne on either side. So he's going to go back and forth on this judgment. Then grab the rules again to see how he works. Because you guys have a little bit more rules than the base game bosses. Each hero must collect four of them and then kill Hades. Judgment Zone. Each judgment zone with a judgment, any hero may spend 1 MP to collect that. The same hero can't collect more than 1 from each zone. Every hero collects in the game 5 MP or XP. As soon as the boss enters the Chamber of Judgment, place all heroes in any of the boss starting zones of their choice. Remove all tiles that are not part of the chamber. Just kind of skipping around here. Final Judgment has 2 different types of rounds. Rounds with an icon in the darkness, and then rounds with the Judgment icon. Place Hades in the throne closest to most of the heroes reduced to 1. They lose all Judgment tokens, skip their next turn this round. Hades has the hero within his grasp and he's ripping out their soul. The hero that hero can't be a miniature controlled by another hero. So the spirit, construct, revived enemy, or companion. Lingering souls. Excluding the hero that Hades has seized, place 1 soul token per hero in the dungeon. These represent lingering souls that are wandering the chamber waiting for their trial. Each lingering soul is added to different zones in the dungeon according to the throne zone, which Hades is placed on, and the number of heroes indicate where tile where Hades is. Invulnerability. Free the souls. Lingering souls have 5 health and can be attacked as if they're enemies. When defeated, they roll 1 die and have the same combat abilities as Hades. Takes 1 judgment. If at the end of the final judgment round there are any lingering souls, the quest ends in defeat. So you have every other round to try and eliminate them. Interesting. So it starts like that, and then you move through, then you get to the boss zone. Yeah. And then what did he have to do to place these? So it said, grabs a hero and activates. Doesn't activate if there are any at the round. Interesting. So it's added to a different zone of the dungeon according to the throne zone which Hades is placed. Okay, so when he comes in, he gets placed on one of the tiles, and then he gets those different zones. Interesting. Alright, so yeah, he has kind of an interesting setup as well. And then each have their own unique boss board, which you could use for other modes if you wanted to. Although they're not specifically designed for that. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to go through really quick is we're going to look at the extra add-ons you can get for Massive Dark Kickstarter, which are the 3D components. So, alright, so just a quick ending of this. Because there's not enough content here to do a separate video for it, but I did want to show off the 3D pack. So there's 3Ds, doors and bridges, pillars and chests, and Hellscape terrain, which we'll look at those in just a sec. We also are going to get some extra dye. So these are just things that were add-on to the Kickstarter. None of them are necessary for playing the game, like everything else. I wish I would have opened these up earlier. But yeah, these are just extra things. There's also marble dice you can get. So they were marble themed dice. The original Master of Darkness had some of these as well. These are just some marble colored dice. They work the same as all the rest. Kind of neat, so if you want an extra set of dice, you can get some extras if you're playing a 4-player game or a 6-player game. You can have dice on either side of the table. But yeah, they just kind of look neat as well. So you get your 3 orange and 3 yellow dice, your 5 blue and your 1 purple guy. You can also get the monster dice. You get 6 of those and the black ones. As well as you have the option of getting the upgraded defense dice and attack dice. The green defense dice, you can see have a lot more defense symbols on. We have some triples, as well as some swords which have triple swords. There's 4 swords on there. Sword with mana. These are just upgraded dice you can get. These are the same ones that are going to be in the regular sets, just extra. Alright, so we've got some doors and bridges. So these are just to replace your tokens you would put on the board. So you can get these 2 bridges. So you can replace that token just so you have a 3D one. Whoops. I'm going to zoom this out a little bit more. So you can have your character stand on those bridges instead. Just kind of add a little bit more thematic element. We also have a bunch of doors, which are really neat because they have the open and close, so you can tell very quickly if something's open or closed. It's just also, again, just to help you, just to make the game feel a little bit more thematic. You're playing with miniatures, now you can see right where doors are. So you're going to get 4, nope, you're going to get 5 of these doors, which are kind of like classic doors. Get 5 of this design. Should be the same on both sides. And you get 5 of like the evil doors. They're kind of neat. You can also theme like what set you're playing, to what type of door you want to use. And you get 2 bridges, which match the number of bridges in the game. And they're like demonic bridges, which is really neat. So those are our bridges and doors. Again, we're going to kind of just fly through these quick. We can get chests and pillars. So these should just replace your pillars that were in the game with some neat looking sculpts. That way if you're trying to, again, instead of just having a little tile on there, you can have these on the table. And then like with the rule with these is your ranged attacks are shortened if you have to shoot around a pole. Like melee, they assume you can kind of like move around and hit guys. But if you're trying to do a ranged thing, you can't shoot through a pole. It's hard to sometimes shoot around it. But this kind of also gives you that scale. So if you're like, I'm here and I have another miniature there, you can kind of see. As for someone who's played other miniature games like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, they also have pillars, and some of those are just, they basically block line of sight and stuff. and they're just little squares that just show like, oh, this is a block that shows there's a pillar there. It being that I can't visually see them, for whatever reason I kept missing them and forgetting they were there. So like these are kind of nice because they're not gonna maybe thematically fit. Maybe the Massive Darkness ones might be a little bit better, but again, they're dungeons versus like turtles like sewers or a subway. But I can still throw these down with those miniatures just to represent something on the board. But you're gonna get 6 of those. You're going to get a bunch of the treasure chests. So you're going to get 4 of the epic ones. So we'll put them up here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 of the regular chests. Yeah, so they're just hollow on the bottom. So basically what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, if you're playing campaign mode with Hell or Heavenfall, then it doesn't matter because if you're using those, the way the rules are is that you just pick up a treasure chest of that size and you grab the amount of treasures from the bag. So if you grab a small treasure, you just get 2 treasures from the bag. If you grab a bigger one, you get 3 treasures. And so rarity doesn't matter for those. But if you're playing the basic game, then on the bottom of each of the tokens, they had symbols for showing what kind of treasures you got. So it's common, but occasionally there'd be some rares. And this had all rares and occasionally an epic. You could always just put the token down on the table, put these treasures on top of it. Then if you open up that treasure, remove it, look at your token. You kind of see what's under there. But yeah, that's kind of, again, it helps with that little 3D aspect, makes the game feel a little bit more interesting. And when I eventually do the Massive Darkness comparison 1 and 2, I will try and compare these miniatures to the ones from the base game, or from Massive Darkness 1, just that we can see it. So the final pack is the Hellscape pack, which has all your other tokens and treasury stuff, so we're going to look at all those. So we're going to have some, what were these guys called? The fountains. It's normally just represented by little tiny things. Let me see if I can grab the tiles quick. Just add some comparisons here. Here would have been one of our doors. Closed and open. You can definitely see why that's a little bit better. Same thing with our pillars. You just get a giant... So, this 3D thing helps a little bit better. Our 2 different treasure chests. Like I said, you can always place these down and then put the other ones on top. Put the actual token on top of them. And I'd say the same thing for all the rest of these. You can do the same thing. Now, these guys look so much cooler. So that's what the original fountain looks like. These 3D ones look so much better. So now you could do the same thing. Like I said, you could place this down, put this on top of it. Or just have a stack of the tokens off to the side and then be like, hey, I have to... I'm activating this. I just grab one of the random tokens and see what it did. You could do that as well if you'd like. But yeah, those are the big fountains. Kind of sit that off to the side. We have the portals. So now in the regular game, the portals are just represented by... I'm just going to show these. They're a little circle, so they're green or purple. Here you're just going to get 4 big ones. So you'll have to probably do something to indicate which one is the purple one, since there's only one. Because otherwise all 4 of these look the same. But they look a lot cooler. They look like giant portals with skeleton backs. Like you can see a miniature right came out of this. Versus like the portal on the other one, I was thinking it's like a portal from the ground. We are also going to get spike traps. and bear traps, which look much cooler in miniature form. So there's your spike trap. And there's your bear trap. And then they do have stuff on the back as well. Being nothing on the bottom. But yeah, let's take a little bit closer look at one of these. Yeah, that looks a little bit more devastating. Now, they didn't have this type of stuff in Massive Darkness 1. They only had the treasure chests and the pillars and then the doors. So they didn't have all these. But yeah, these look a lot more deadly if I was walking else and I saw this versus if I just saw this. Makes it a little bit more threatening. So you're going to get 4 bear traps, 6 spike traps, 4 of the portals, 4 of the fountains, and then 4 of the forges, which you can use to upgrade your equipment. So there's your forge. That actually doesn't look too bad, but again, the 3D one definitely looks cooler. The last 2 things we get are the bridges, which we showed off. I just want to show off the bridge tiles. Now this is kind of interesting because these look like normal little bridges as opposed to the demonic ones we got. So they're kind of interesting either way. The last thing I want to show off, if I can figure out where I put it. Was in the Hellscape pack, I got a bunch of stickers. So these are for your bear traps, for your spike traps, and for your fountains. So you can stick them to the bottom. So I get why they did this. It's because that way you can just pick these up and reveal them. You can stick them underneath. Mine got a little bit banged up in the box because I didn't realize they were in there, and I probably just shoved my things back in the way. But yeah, that's kind of neat that they had those, but they didn't make them for the treasure chests as well, which would have been kind of cool if they had a way to do that. So that's why, you can opt to either do this or just keep them tokens sitting aside. Either way, but again, like I said, once you start playing the campaign mode, the thing on the bottom of the treasure chest doesn't mean anything, so maybe you might just want to stick these on there. I'll probably stick them on there anyhow. Just because it'll look better. Alright, so that is what we have for the Darkbringer box. Get out of my way, guy there. So that is the Massive Darkness 2 Darkbringer box set. And all the Kickstarter exclusive things. You check out the other videos if you haven't for some reason checked out all those. Also check out the other upgrade packs that weren't just for this game. So you have like the Massive Darkness 1 upgrade pack as well as the Zombicide crossover, which I'm doing as separate videos because they require other games to play them. See you guys then. Bye.